Planning your strategy. So before we build, we plan. So we need to know what we want to get out of a strategy before we create one. So what market environment / cycle are we most comfortable trading in? What time frame will we trade? Do we have time to sit in front of a computer for hours a day, or just enough time to recap / plan and make adjustments at the end of the day? If we have an idea of what we want, then we can apply previous learned market principles to our ideas and begin to craft something unique. For example, my day trading strategy differs from my swing trading strategy, differs from my strategic trades in crypto, though they all use the same market principles. So we will start with what I use for my day trading strategy because it is the most detailed, and personally, everything else I have done was created from there, so it checks all the boxes. So don't worry about whether or not you're interested in day trading. These techniques can apply to all time frames, and I'll also reference the longer time frames throughout this part of the course. So you will see how we integrate all the tools from the course, part 2, Gaining Momentum, that lays out the path forward. And don't forget that you can use any of these tools and techniques on any time frame. And I've explained in the past, that is the test of a good, robust, not strategy, but technique or rule, right? They should apply those things that work on a weekly chart should work on a 1 minute chart. All right, 2 categories of trading strategy. You have trading with the trend, in which we will attempt to capture as much of the day's range or momentum swing in a particular direction. And we have range trading, which is also known as rotational. And there's several consolidation, there's several other balance, several other types of definitions for that market, but in which we try to capture as much of the range as possible, but multiple times, as the stock rotates from the highs to the lows and back to the highs, etc., in a range. So although I will explain some insight and techniques for range trading, my strengths lie with trading with the trend, and ultimately I think that's where the most money lies. I actually try to use ranges, which are essentially value consolidation, to gain a positional advantage in my trend trading. And you can do this again with all time frames. So trend trading is by far the most profitable type of strategy, but identifying and knowing what to do when you find yourself in a range type scenario can be critical to long-term success. And I kind of can't emphasize this enough. I think it was Bill Lipschitz, and there's several other people, that have if traders would learn to sit on their hands when they identify that the market environment is not conducive to their success, i.e. there is no opportunity for them, they would make a lot more money. So instead of trying to always make money out of every specific scenario, the idea is that we want to become familiar with what we are most successful with, that specific strategy within a certain market scenario, and really try to kill it. I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, right? Because we have our strategy, we want to follow it, but we want to do as best as we possibly can when odds are in our favor, when conditions are in our favor, and we essentially want to do nothing when they're not, right? So that's why I mentioned, why reading charts and price action and all that is so important, because the quicker that you can understand what the market is trying to do, or where it's capped or handicapped on the day, and doesn't have probably it's not going to have the chance or the tendency to do that specific day, then you're better off just avoiding it. Don't try, go do something else, right? Go fish, go take a walk, go, you know what I mean? Go read a book. Literally, it's better than anything. For me, all I wanted to do was sit at my computer and I just wanted to trade every day and just make money in any market scenario, right? In any condition. And I was not successful at that. And I think that most people are not successful at that. You have something that you do well, and you do more of what's working and less of what's not. And honestly, it's very, very hard. And you may have experience with this it also mess with your mind. If I've got where I'm constantly looking for a trend and I'm expecting the charts to break out, if I get into an idea of, okay, well, the market's consolidating and I just can keep continuing to try to position myself for the market to break out, then then that's where you rack up those losses, right? Because you are not in sync with what the market is trying to tell you. And so every one of those breakouts is ultimately gonna fail and head back towards mean reversion. It's gonna head back towards value. And so if you are in a consolidation or rotational type environment and you're focused on trend trading, you're going to be late to the game by the time that you realize what is happening. And then you're going to switch to a range type trading. Let's say you have a strategy for that as well. It's very hard to bounce back and forth between the two of them. Though I think that's a good goal, right? I think you should be able to watch and learn and pay attention to, okay, the market's starting to show signs where it wants to break out now that it's consolidating. It looks like it's building value, and it's starting to trend, and it looks like it wants to break out, and those things are good. But again, if you're focused on making money in the consolidation or the rotational type day, you're essentially working at odds against what you're good at and your other strategy. So again, it's not that I wouldn't say that it's impossible. Nothing's impossible. But especially starting out, if you're struggling, 100% focus on the days. Like I said, for me, it's trends. Focus on those days. You look for those opportunities and you give that your all. And when it's not performing well, there's nothing wrong with watching it and continuing to learn and anticipate what you think is going to happen. But if you try to trade it, you're going to end up racking losses, which ultimately just takes away from your profitable days.